Welcome to Popcorn News. Something to watch while you eat popcorn. Vampires used to particularly infest Slavonic countries such as Russia and Poland. It was not until about the mid-1700s that the apparitions became well known in Western Europe. Writing in 1746, one Don Calmet recorded how, in this present age and for about 60 years past, we have been the hearers and the witnesses of a new series of extraordinary incidents and occurrences. Hungary, Moravia, Silesia, Poland are the principal theater of these happenings. For here we are told that dead men who have been dead for several months, I say, return from the tomb, are heard to speak, walk about, infest hamlets and villages, injure both men and animals whose blood they drain, thereby making them sick and ill, and at length actually causing death. In the news lately have been reports about a Polish cemetery and an outbreak of vampires in Poland in the 17th and 18th centuries. Archaeologists recently have discovered surprisingly many burial sites of presumed vampires in Poland. One method used to combat the vampires was to place sickles, sharp blades, across their buried bodies. It is my opinion that these sharp blades, these sickles, were placed across the bodies after their phantoms had been seen and recognized in the neighborhood. In other words, the graves were opened and the sickles placed after the persons had already been buried. To understand how the sharp blades would inhibit the phantoms, it is first necessary to re-examine the concept of the ether. Many people believe that Albert Einstein had abolished the ether, a superfine type of matter more subtle than gas. In fact, though, Einstein did not abolish the ether. He merely said that the ether was no longer needed to explain the universe. Furthermore, Albert Einstein later stepped back from even this and proposed a new ether. Particulars on this can be found in my series, Our Friend the Ether, parts 1 through 46, published at Erstamu's blog, erstamu.wordpress.com. There is something called the doppelganger. This is, in other words, the etheric double, which normally lingers with the recently deceased for a few days before it disintegrates. The etheric body is not the same as the astral body, which is composed of substance even more rarefied than the ether. In cases where an individual has been grossly material, however, it sometimes happens that they are so attached to the earthly plane that they do not easily relinquish its hold on them. These persons of a low type, and low type can include supposedly refined persons, covet their earthly existence so much that their etheric bodies are willed into a perverse existence. These doppelgangers from persons of a low type rise from the corpse and roam about, seeking the life force. During this vagabondage, the etheric body remains connected to its corpse by the thinnest of threads. And what is the life force sought by the wandering doppelganger? The life force is obviously in the blood. Even with regard to animals, the soul or life of the animal was in the blood, as can be seen, for example, in Leviticus chapter 17, verses 10 through 14. We can see that the sickles placed on certain corpses in Poland would have served to halt any wanderings of the doppelganger by means of a careful reading of Homer's Odyssey. In books 10 and 11 of the Odyssey, it is told how Odysseus is advised by the goddess Circe to perform certain ceremonies. First, a trench had to be dug and a drink offering to the dead poured into it. A ram and a black ewe, or ewe, E-W-E, were then to be sacrificed. On this, many dead men's ghosts will come to you, Circe told Odysseus. He was told, however, that he must draw his sword to keep the ghosts away from the spilt blood until certain questions had been answered. The sword of Odysseus is like the sickles found placed upon certain corpses in the Polish cemetery. Notice in both cases how sharp blades have the power to impede the vampires. Thank you for watching Popcorn News.